Hello everybody, this is me. I'm currently on Facebook and I'm also going to talk about the fact that I went to an AA today. I seem to be better off today, which is great. I should smile more, hey, everything's getting better. But I still seem to be slightly saddened, and it is a process by which you get better. I can see now on my forehead, as opposed to the last time, that somehow some colour has gone into my face, and it's somehow, although I'm losing my hair a bit for some reason or another, trying too hard of course, but then again, trying too hard is based on something inherently happening to me over the fact that I'm overexcitable from 15 years doing what I did, and now I'm just sort of going ahead to doing things like A's I never really wanted to do. So it's a hard one. It's really hard to do something you don't want to do, and I shared today, and I was glad to. Really glad. So I'm now chatting to 4 different people, and I'm going to oh no, what happened? Oh, something crashed. I gather that something crashed, but I'm not sure what it means by that. It happened on Facebook, so obviously I'm going to have to try and do this film now, because it'll get very boring for people to look at this film and wonder what the hell I'm doing whilst typing. A dull thing to notice. And I had enjoyed just saying something very concrete in the AA. I shan't say much, but obviously, if I'm not disclosing anything about the meeting, I did disclose that I had drunk a couple of days ago, and it wasn't pleasant, and it wasn't bad. It was 4 cans. I mean, it's nothing really, But it's this idea that having to always go back into the this negativeness, this outrageous doom and gloom, and I don't want that. Each time I'm going there, all my bad traits come out. The ranting, and last time it was about the fact of some person in my family having some circumstance happen to them. I can't say what it is because it would be disclosing something that would not be good, and she would not be happy about it. It's a she, of course. And so that says nothing, and so it seems very boring, but of course it's a major thing for me, and if I say that, then it's enough. To say that major things, well, let's say in other cases, for celebration's sakes, or major things such as getting a new job or something like that, that can't seem such a bad thing. But it all depends on the right choices and the right people they're with, and whether they feel happy, and whether they are going to do that on a long-term basis. Well, anyway, I'll leave it. I won't talk about it. I'm quite pleased that things go well for me. I should never try and be too worried about how people will get on with their life. Inherently, people mostly will either survive and make the right choices most of the time, or they will somehow live in some insipid life where they only live for their intelligence. And living for merely intelligence or cleverness will get you nowhere. I know that because I've spent a great deal of time trying to live on willpower, painting, sculpting. I could have done any number of hobbies and any number in different destinies, but in my sense it's not a dull thing to keep on stating that however much I did for a month of my painting and my sculpting and so on, and thinking yes, it's great, and yes, the process of how it was nice to build one creature called Levi the Leviathan, and another one, it doesn't matter what they were names, how much I loved the sound of my voice having produced these films. It wasn't enough to simply ruminate on what day or time I could have done these films, or if they could have been longer, or if I had different webcams, or any amount of information, It just wasn't enough to push the problem away. Do not, yes, it pauses for a second, and I have an inkling that something rather annoying is happening to this webcam with time. And I'm now rambling a bit because I realise that at that moment, perhaps, it then loses a certain point of filming, of which it sort of seems to be a minute or 2 minutes. I'm just writing something to Billy. But yes. I basically I have to write a couple of messages, otherwise all my friends on Facebook will wonder where I'm going, and I'm really just rambling here, but some of it's useful. And now I shall finish it, because I'm actually tired of rambling like this. It was, well, in the meeting I was sort of there, I must explain how I felt, maybe there would be some progress here. I always have this suspicion that I have to maintain, as usual, even if this is a coward's way, of always thinking, right, I will put myself out, I will take risks, but at the same time, I shouldn't admit too much here. And whatever I do, I'll still be like a chameleon and change all the time, with or without my intentions to do. But I think to myself, yes, they're all there, and they're all very clever, and so am I. None of that matters, but I'm not putting myself out absolutely 100%, because some part of me thinks if I put at least 90%, maybe 80, maybe 70, and more than half, that's always going to be the case. That's a good choice. That is a good choice. But to put 100%, hey man, it's wonderful, let's go, and I'm a fluffy being like a little bear, I love it, it's great, and then everyone would look like, hey, this guy, he's really silly, let's kill him, No, but they wouldn't kill me, but they would just, everyone hates people who are just so kind of like, everything is great, yeah, come on. Everyone can live under the sun every day, even if it's nighttime. We have night for reasons. Night and day, a mixture of, like in seasons, we have things, and we have good sides and bad sides. A moderate person is much more acceptable, and more people flock to that person. A shepherd, an adventurer, but some kind of Americanized fool, or anyone of any culture, of any country, who looks fluffy and can only manage that if they're sort of old and wizened, and then you think, well, at least they're wild side. Maybe they were wild some time ago, but now they sort of nestled into their wise ways. You've got to listen to them, and you can't quite work out whether they were wild or not. So at the end of the day, I always want to kind of recline from that. I think, if I act like that, one, I'm going to barf, and two, you just got to sort of take it in your stride and do one after another, and one day you'll be going to them, and they'll always be slightly unpleasant, but you'll just think, yep, and now I'm just noticed to be in a certain kind of way, in a certain kind of state, that people just accept that I'm just an ordinary little sheep in the valley, but I can always maintain my eccentricities outside meetings. And that's what I want. I don't want to be noticeable. And at the beginning you are, and then later on you just sort of think, I'm comfortable with